In this step, we'll be working with one of the most important data structures in Python, lists. Lists help us store multiple values, like a collection of car parts or maintenance tasks. So let's leave a comment so that we know which step we're on and where we learned about lists. A list of car parts. To create a list, we're just going to use a variable. We'll use the variable car parts and set that equal to, and then we're going to use a bracket. And then inside the bracket, we'll list the different items. We're going to separate all of these with a comma. And then we can print out the list as a whole unit. Let's run this and see what that looks like. Here are the car parts that need to be checked, and then we're given the output. But we want to be able to access each individual item instead of getting an output like this. So let's take a look at that next. Let's leave a note here so we know what this part of the code does. If we want to get an individual item from the list, we call out the name of the variable, and then we need to provide it an index number. Python and other programming languages, they, instead of starting to count at 1, they start to count at 0. So this very first item, brake pads, is index number 0. So if I put a 0 here, let's look what that looks like when we run it. The first part to check is the brake pads. Kill that terminal. If we would like to modify something in the list, so if we wanted to update, the value at index number 2. So if we look right here, this is 0, 1, 2. We're going to change air filter. We want it to be the cabin air filter. Let's just print out the whole list again. We can see here now our third item in the list, index number 2, is cabin air filter. We've looked at finding an index number and accessing the information in it. We talked about updating an index number. Let's see what it takes to add an index or add an item and then remove an item. So we call out the name of the list, and then we're going to use a period or dot operator, and then we're going to say append, and then we want to append the part battery. And then removing an item. We call out the name of the list, remove, and then the item that we want to remove. Okay, and then let's print out the updated list again. I'm just going to copy this line right here. We'll run it. And here we see that we have added battery and we have removed oil filter. This is our most recent or current list, and it does not have oil filter in it, but it now has battery. If I want to print out not just a list with the brackets, I want to actually iterate, go through each item in the list, I can use a loop. But we can print out right here. We'll just do a general statement. Maybe this is a reminder to the technician of the things that they need to do during this service. And we're going to say for, and then part. This is a variable we're creating ourselves. And then we say in car parts. This is the name of the list. And then we can print each item in the list, which is the part. So this variable part right here is what we're printing out. Run through that. Here we're printing out parts to check during service, and then here we have a list of each item that we want to service. So to recap, we learned how to create lists, access the elements in the list, modify them, add or removing items, and even how to loop through each item in the list. Lists are essential tools for organizing data efficiently in your automotive Python projects.